Trying to make sense of the Southern California real estate market right now, it can feel like you're trying to solve a puzzle in the dark, right? But what if one specific community was sending out a signal that was just crystal clear? Today, we're diving deep into the data on Canyon Lake, and what it shows is a really unique and very temporary window of opportunity for buyers. I mean, it's the question on everybody's mind. You see all these conflicting headlines, all these confusing economic signals. It's totally normal to feel uncertain. Are we about to see a crash, or is this a recovery? Well, the answer, as it turns out, really depends on where you're looking. For most of Southern California, the forecast is kinda meh. It's this idea of modest stability. We're not seeing a huge boom or a catastrophic bust, but this slow, grinding market that's just being squeezed by high borrowing costs and, let's be honest, a frustrating lack of affordable homes. And this general confusion is exactly why we need to zoom in.
So let's do that. Let's cut through the noise. While the rest of the region is sending all these mixed signals, the data coming out of the private, gated community of Canyon Lake, well, it tells a surprisingly different and much clearer story.
Okay, check this out. This is your first huge piece of evidence, a nearly 94% explosion in the number of homes for sale. Now, this isn't some small shift. We're talking about a dramatic expansion of choice for buyers. It gives you more options, more breathing room than we've seen in years. And then there's this. Homes are just sitting on the market longer, a median of 94 days. That frantic, you have to bid over asking price today feeling, it's gone. And that slowdown, it completely flips the script. The negotiating power slides right out of the seller's hands and lands directly in yours. And when you lay it all out like this, the picture becomes crystal clear, doesn't it? You can see that massive jump in inventory. You see homes taking way longer to sell, and you see a sale-to-list ratio that's under 100%. The bottom line here is that every single key indicator is screaming the same thing. The market is cooled, and that creates leverage for buyers.
And look, you don't just have to take my word for it. The data analysts over at Realtor.com have made it official. As of late 2025, they've straight up classified Canyon Lake as a definitive buyer's market. I mean, the evidence is just overwhelming.
But, and this is a big but, here's the twist. This moment of leverage, it is not going to last. There are some major catalysts brewing on the horizon, and they're about to unleash a wave of pent-up demand that could slam this window of opportunity shut. And I mean fast. Just look at this contrast. It really lays it all out. Today, we're in this suppressed market. We've got high inventory, we've got breathing room for buyers. But tomorrow, as things change, that's going to pivot to a market that's defined by unleashed demand, fierce competition, and a really swift return to a seller's advantage. So what's going to cause this big shift? Well, here's catalyst number one, and it's a big one. Forecasts show the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate dropping from 6.6% down to 6.0% in 2026. Now, that might not sound like a huge drop, but for a home in this price range, that can mean hundreds of bucks back in your pocket every single month. And that is more than enough to get a ton of people off the fence and back into the game.
And that right there, that's the key. That drop in rates is the green light for thousands of buyers who have been patiently waiting on the sidelines. You're going to see them jump back into the market with renewed buying power, and they're going to soak up this current surplus of inventory really quickly, driving competition and prices right back up.
Okay, but it's not just about interest rates. There's another reason for urgency, and honestly, this one's way more permanent. It's this kind of hidden trap that's built right into California's property tax system. Waiting a year doesn't just mean you might pay a higher price, it means you could lock yourself into a higher tax bill for the next 30 years. So here's how it works, and you really got to understand this. The moment you buy a home in California, the county reassesses it at its current market value. That value becomes your permanent tax baseline. That famous 2% cap from Prop 13, it only protects you after you buy. So whatever that price is on day one, that's your starting point for taxes for like the next 30 years. And this chart, man, it just perfectly shows you the trap. Let's say you buy a home today for $750,000. If prices just rise modestly to $785,000 next year, your new higher tax baseline means you will pay over $12,500 more in property taxes over the life of your loan. That's money just gone, a permanent penalty for waiting. This quote just nails it. Think about it. You can always refinance a mortgage later if rates drop again. But you can never go back in time and get a do-over on your property tax baseline. That's a one-time shot. And as lower rates push home prices up, that 2026 baseline is only going to get higher. So you start to put all these pieces together, and you realize this isn't just about snagging a good deal today. This is about recognizing a rare moment of strategic leverage in what has historically been a very strong long-term market.
Yeah, the market might be slow right now, but let's not forget the bigger picture here. Over the last decade, real estate in Canyon Lake has appreciated a staggering 132%. That kind of performance puts it in the top 10% of all communities in the entire country for long-term real estate investment.
And you know a huge reason why? It comes down to one word: scarcity. Canyon Lake is a built-out community. There is no more land to develop. This finite supply, combined with its unique lifestyle as a private lake community, creates this incredibly strong foundation for long-term value.
Okay, so let's just recap everything. Let's put all the puzzle pieces on the table. Do we have proof that it's a buyer's market? Yes, the data on inventory and days on market is undeniable. Is there a real reason to act now? Absolutely. Falling interest rates are about to bring back a flood of competition, and that rising tax baseline creates a permanent financial penalty for waiting. And finally, is this a good long-term investment? Well, the history and the finite supply say yes loud and clear.
Which, brings us all the way back to where we started. In this sea of market noise and confusing signals, the data from Canyon Lake is sending one that is loud and clear. The moment of maximum leverage for buyers is right now, but that window is closing. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do about it?